Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. And General, I appreciate your service. Thank you for your service. Appreciate your being here today. In your testimony, you talked about your training and natural impulse as an American member of the American military is to run towards the gunfire. And we've heard testimony today about what we should have done, and we're kind of unclear about what we could have done, and whether or not we had the forces that could have gotten there in time. I'm going to say we definitely should have tried. But as an American citizen, I'm not asking you to give away any secrets or speak. As an American citizen, does it trouble you that we can't respond in a timely manner to threats to an American embassy anywhere in the world?
It's part of the reason I sit here today, sir.
Thank you very much. I think it's something we should all be concerned about. Let's talk a little bit about your role the evening of the Benghazi attacks. You talk about you fight your way to the train, the brave men and women in Libya did in running toward the sound of the guns. You also say that outside of Libya there were discussions going on about how to respond to the attack, and that these folks also fought the way they were trained. Are you referring to the AFRICOM headquarters with that comment?
At AFRICOM headquarters,
you're right,
and interagency interactions.
All right. So you wrote the disposition to interagency influences had the military structure and in the spirit of expeditionary government support waiting for a request for assistance from the State Department. That kind of sounds like bureaucratese of saying that the military that night was not its own master as far as taking steps to go to the rescue of the Americans in Benghazi, but were waiting for directions from the State Department. Would that be a fair assessment?
That characterization is part of what's in that comment, yes.
That just seems crazy. We've got Americans who need help. You ought to be able to hop on an airplane, and they could have been ordered to stand down if the situation warranted that. I know General Hand was in Washington that night and left his deputy commander as a senior-most officer at AFRICOM. Was he consulting the State Department about what to do during the attacks at Benghazi?
The Admiral worked tirelessly to do that.
And obviously, we didn't have much of a response there. Let me go to Mrs. Shaki. I apologize if I mispronounced your name. In your testimony, you talked about in the Arab Spring how we should be focusing on helping these countries out. You look at the track record that we have under the Obama administration with nation building. You look at Iraq. A lot of blood, a lot of treasure shed in Iraq, yet we see al-Qaeda flags flying in Fallujah. We've seen instability all throughout that region. You look at the civil war going on in Syria. Obviously, I mean, it's hard to tell the good guys from the bad guys without a playbook, but we draw a red line and step back from it. We can even go over into Crimea and see some problems. Are we sure we really want to be involved in that based on our track record there?
I share your skepticism about the administration's choices in the Middle East. It does seem to me that one of the fundamental mistakes the Obama administration is making is they act as though taking action is something that sets in motion all sorts of consequences, but that taking no action means we have no moral responsibility for any consequences. And as I think David's testimony made really clear, there are consequences for what we have not done in Libya. And Mali is bearing them out at the moment. Libya is bearing them out at the moment. And the gap between what the administration claims it is achieving and what we are actually doing in the region is encouraging people to take action.
I'm almost out of time, and I had one more question for General Lovell. The U.S. intervention in Libya was constrained by White House's strict prohibition of boots on the ground. Do you think that limited boots on the ground may have, in that policy, might have been one of the driving forces in the fact that we didn't send a response there to Benghazi?
Well, I would say if there were boots on ground and there were Marines in uniform as part of a security team that were around any of the State Department facilities, I would say that would intimidate most that we're going to try to make an attack. And boots on the ground are the best and only way to hold the ground, if that's what you're looking to do.
Thank you very much. I just want to point out quickly before I yield back, Mr. Chairman, that as we investigated embassy security together, some of the key factors that are considerations are the willingness and ability of the host country to provide security. And I think that's a common understanding at the State Department. At a time a government is undergoing change,